What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. What could get in the way of the Dodgers signing Freddie Freeman, and what will the club do if they can sign him? We're going to talk about that in just a second. But quick reminder, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day. Do you think that Freddie Freeman is worth 6 years, $180 million? How high do you think Andrew Friedman would be willing to go, years and money-wise, for Freddie Freeman? And also, what do you think the Dodgers should do if they can sign him? Should they try to trade for Matt Olson? Should they consider signing Kyle Schwarber? I want all your takes down below. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So welcome back to MLB Cold Stove Talk, where there is no baseball news because of the MLB lockout, but we do have some interesting stuff to talk about when it comes to Freddie Freeman, because the second that the two sides reach an agreement, all eyes are going to be on Freddie Freeman and which team he'll ultimately sign with. Now, when will that be? Will it be late January? Will it be early February? Will it stretch into March? I highly doubt that. I think they're going to get a deal done between late January and early February. But when it comes to Freddie Freeman, the big question for the Dodgers is, how high will they be willing to go? Will they be willing to meet his asking price? 6 years, $180 million. That is the number that a few different insiders have been throwing around. Well, the big holdup for Freeman is the years. He wants that 6th year, and if you give him the 6 years, that takes him to his age 38 season. Well, back in November, USA Today's Bob Nightingale, he reported that the Braves offered him a 5-year, $135 million offer. He wrote in his piece, free agent Freddie Freeman was on the mind of every team seeking a first baseman, with Freeman rejecting Atlanta's 5-year, $135 million offer and seeking closer to a 6-year, $200 million deal. Yet you couldn't find a soul who believes Freeman won't be returning to Atlanta. So you see that last number, 6 years, $200 million. I highly doubt the Dodgers would go that high, because Andrew Friedman, that isn't his MO. He likes to maintain a certain level of payroll flexibility, and he has shown a reluctance to give out these big paydays to aging stars. Now, he did give Mookie Betts a 12-year, $365 million deal, but Mookie still well in his prime, still in his 20s. And how old was Mookie when he signed that deal? Well, he was just 27 years old. Now, yes, maybe towards the back end of that contract, maybe it does become an albatross, but what you hope to do is get 5, 6, 7 elite years from players like Mookie Betts. Now, when it comes to Freddie Freeman, if they were to sign him to a deal, he's 32 years old, and he turns 33 on September 12th next year. So by the time the playoffs rolls around next season, he's already going to be 33 years old, and you wonder, are his best days behind him? Now, I do think that Freddie Freeman's swing is going to age well. I definitely think he'll still remain a productive player into his mid and hopefully late 30s, because that would be the question that would keep me up at night if I was Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers. How many elite years would you be getting from Freddie Freeman if you give him a 6-year contract? Are you getting 2, 3 elite years and a couple good years? Is he going to fall off a cliff like an Albert Pujols with the Anaheim Angels? Or is he going to be a player that continues to be productive? Now, I think a big factor is you will have the DH in the National League. So that makes the move a little more palatable if you're the Dodgers, because you will have that flexibility. And yes, he is a Gold Glove award-winning first baseman, so you will want to keep him at first for as long as you can. But knowing that you can use the DH to try to keep him on the field is something that the Dodgers can feel good about if they were to sign him. Now, something else I would consider too if I were the Dodgers would be, do you think that next year's team is a World Series caliber winning team? If you truly believe that and you think that Freddie Freeman will put you over the top, then I think you go forward with the signing. But right now, do you truly believe that this Dodgers starting rotation is a World Series winning rotation? I think that's a big question right now. I don't think at the moment they're in a position where you can say, oh yeah, this is one of the top 5 best starting rotations in Major League Baseball. Look, losing Max Scherzer was a big blow. Trevor Bauer, the uncertainty with that, I think, is something else that I would strongly consider. But I think if you're the Dodgers, you do need to continue to explore ways to fortify this starting rotation, and then you look at adding a player like Freddie Freeman to try to replace the production left by Corey Seager, who's now at the Texas Rangers. So it's a lot of different factors. I mean, look, it's Freddie Freeman. You think right away, oh, this is a perfect fit. This is a guy that he's a hitting machine. machine. He's a guy that is an MVP winner. He's from Southern California. It's just a no-brainer. And in a lot of respects, it definitely is, but I think it does go deeper than that if you're the Dodgers, because there are only so many of these big money contracts that you can hand out. And also, if you sign a player like Freddie Freeman at 32, it's not like you can really trade him away or anything like that. If you see like Nolan Arenado a few years ago with the Rockies, you can trade a player like that because you still have him under a nice deal in the prime of his career. Now, like with Mookie Betts, we talked about earlier, Mookie Betts is still a young player, and you'll eat those years at the end if he can produce during the prime of his career. So I guess the big question is, how long will Freddie Freeman's prime last? Now, if I'm LA, of course, I'm trying to stick to my strategy. The shorter the contract, the better, especially when you consider his age. But will you really be willing to match a 6-year, $200 million deal that he has been rumored to be looking for? 6 years, 180, something in that range. I think that is a big question mark. And then you also have some other options. Do you trade for a Matt Olson, who's still just 27 years old and has 2 years of team control left? Do you sign a Kyle Schwarber, who's definitely a liability defensively, but is much cheaper and has proven that he can rake from the left side? Had a really nice year last season. So they will have some options. We know the big fish is Freddie Freeman, but before we go out there and back up the Brinks truck, there are some other things to think about. Also, the Braves extended him that $18.4 million qualifying offer. So along with a monster 5 or 6 year contract, the Dodgers would have to forfeit their 2nd and 5th round draft picks. And with the way this franchise knows how to draft, the way this organization knows how to spot and identify talent and develop them, that's something you also want to strongly consider. And one of our friends over at MLB Trade Rumors, Tim Dirks, he doesn't see the Dodgers as a realistic landing spot for Freddie Freeman. He wrote, "The Dodgers doing a 6-year contract for another team's 32-year-old free agent? Andrew Friedman has been in charge for 7 years now, and he's given out 4+ years to another team's free agent 2 times. 4 years to Brandon McCarthy in 2014 and 4 years to A.J. Pollock in 2019. Under Friedman, the club did go 4 years to retain Justin Turner and Chris Taylor and 5 years to keep Kenley Jansen in free agency. They also notably did a 12-year extension with Mookie Betts before he played a regular season game with the team. But 6 years to Freeman, along with the forfeiture of the Dodgers' 2nd and 5th round draft picks, I just don't see it. Signing Freeman would also require Max Muncy to spend more time at second base or third base, but the addition of an NLDH could alleviate a potential logjam. So first of all, Brandon McCarthy, that was such a fail. But A.J. Pollock, he's come around. That turned out to be a really solid signing after a couple years where he was dealing with injuries. He didn't perform in the postseason in 2019, and that left a big stain on a lot of Dodger fans' minds. But when it comes to this Dodgers organization, they understand value. It's not about the years as much as it is about the player. They were fine giving Mookie Betts 12 years, and when it comes to Freddie Freeman, I think they'd be fine giving him 5 years. I think they would budge on the 6th year if the money was okay, but I do think that 5 years at a high AAV, I think they would definitely welcome that because he is a high character guy. He is box office. He is a marquee name. Fans around the league love him. Look, if you had Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman on the same team, you really would have 2 of the most beloved players in all of Major League Baseball playing on the same team. But look, even though Freddie Freeman has that $1 million smile, his teeth remind me of Jim Carrey's in The Mask. Okay. Even though he has that big smile in the clubhouse, he's a very intense guy. He holds his teammates accountable, and I think more high-character guys on this Dodger team is going to be big because we know that Justin Turner, yes, he's the unofficial captain of the Dodgers, but if Clayton Kershaw's gone, Justin Turner's getting older, I think Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman as the leaders of this team, I think the Dodgers will recognize that intangible benefit as well, and I think they would be willing to spend on him. So I push back on this idea that Andrew Friedman wouldn't be willing to spend on him. I think that they would welcome him at the right price. I don't think they'd go 6 years, $200 million. I don't think this is a back up the Brinks truck and here's a blank check because I think that they're going to be a little more cost conscious, but I definitely think they'll realize the value and also they'll understand the benefit of having the DH. So right now I think that they're still going to go forward with trying to pursue Freddie Freeman once the lockout ends, but there are those roadblocks and there are more things to consider because yes, it's great to get that shiny new object respect in a big-time free agent like Freddie Freeman, but you have to realize that he is not in the absolute super prime of his career like Mookie Betts was when they made that deal. But the way I look at it is it's about winning these World Series titles. You have that money invested in Mookie Betts. You did make that trade for Trey Turner. Let's win now. That window is going to shut one day, and you might as well take full advantage of Mookie and Trey Turner and Walker Buehler and Julio Urias and Cody Bellinger next season. Max Muncy, lots of talent on this team. Let's win these rings, and we'll worry about the rebuild when that time comes. But just want to give you some more things to think about, the pros and the cons, the roadblocks that could get in the way of the Dodgers signing Freddie Freeman. But let me know down below in the comment section, do you think that Freddie Freeman is worth 6 years, 180, or 6 years, 200 million at age 32? Would you have any reluctance to make that deal if you were the Dodgers? Let me know down below in the comment section. And right now, what percentage chance do you think the Dodgers have of signing Freddie Freeman? Let me know down below. My name is D-Mac. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all things Dodger baseball, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. Really helps out the channel. For all latest Dodgers Nation merch, head to gearup.la, download the new Dodgers Nation app, and until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.